Belgium just reminded the entire World Cup that sleeping giants are still giants. After two performances that had fans checking the calendar to make sure they were watching the right team, the Red Devils turned up against New Zealand and put on a show that was equal parts relief, power, and a very loud message to every other team still alive in this tournament.
One team who could do with a win in this World Cup right now is Belgium. Of course, that was the other game. They played out a 0-0 draw with Iran and just not looking up too much right now. That's back-to-back draws for them, Frank.
Goals from Trossard twice. A classy finish from De Bruyne that reminded everyone why his name still carries weight even at 34. And late finishes from Lukaku and Saelemaekers to make it a cricket score and send Belgium soaring to the top of their group. The win mattered for reasons that go way beyond 3 points. Because after those ugly, nervous, lifeless displays against Egypt and Iran...
And the one we haven't mentioned yet is De Bruyne.
Yeah.
And De Bruyne, as good as he is past his best as well.
Real questions were being asked about whether this Belgium squad had enough left in the tank to actually compete at this World Cup. Not polite questions, sharp ones. The kind that cut right through the official press conference language and land somewhere uncomfortable. And honestly, those questions were fair. Because Romelu Lukaku...
They didn't particularly impress, did they, Belgium? Let's be honest.
No, they wasn't really impressive. I think that Iran deserved that point.
Belgium's all-time top scorer, the man who has tormented defenders for over a decade, built like a wall and just as hard to move, barely played for Napoli this season. He was managing his body all year. A striker who is not match sharp is a striker who is a liability, no matter how good his career numbers look on paper.
I think we have to be realistic here. You know, Belgium coming into this tournament is not the Belgium of the past. This golden generation is completely done. And unfortunately, they're still relying on part of that.
Yeah.
And De Bruyne, still brilliant in flashes, is no longer the relentless engine that once made opposition managers lose sleep. He picks his moments now. He has to. That is what 34 does to even the most gifted footballers on the planet. And then at the back, Belgium's defensive line simply does not have the same bone-crushing authority it had when Kompany, Vertonghen, and Alderweireld were marshalling things from behind.
Doku, Meunier arriving! And Belgium have turned it around. Good for Belgium, 2-0. Tremendous football. Tielemans leaves it for Kevin De Bruyne. There's the goal. They spent this first half threatening. Because it continued his run back for Fofana. Beautifully worked, Belgium.
Those three were generational. You do not replace generational easily, and Belgium have not fully replaced them yet. The current defenders are talented and they are developing, but in tight moments against top-quality opposition, the gap is visible. So yes, those early tournament concerns were real, but the New Zealand performance answered them enough to keep the tournament dream alive. And that is the story of this Belgium team right now, a squad caught between eras trying to blend what remains of one of the most talented golden generations in football history with a bright and hungry new wave that is starting to take over.
Belgium needed to deliver, and deliver they did.
Here is the full picture of how Belgium got to this exact point, and then why this World Cup might be the beginning of something new rather than the end of something old. The Belgium golden generation was genuinely special. Not just ranked number 1 in the world special, actually special. Hazard, De Bruyne, Lukaku, Courtois, Vertonghen, Alderweireld, these were not marginal stars, these were players dominating the best clubs in Europe week after week. At their peak, Belgium were a genuinely frightening proposition for any opposition on any given night. But the trophies never
Zlatan,
came.
I know it was a struggle for you. You slept for most of the game.
Follows this generation everywhere. For almost a full decade, they arrived at major tournaments as favorites and left empty-handed. The 2018 World Cup third-place finish was the high watermark, the closest they ever got. And even that ended with a semi-final loss to France before they regrouped to beat England for the bronze medal. After Russia 2018, things started sliding. Euro 2020 ended in a quarter-final exit to Italy.
Still with Jeremy Doku, hit it well, 3-0.
The 2022 World Cup was a group stage disaster that no one who watched it has quite recovered from. Euro 2024 under Domenico Tedesco was a mess from start to finish, opening with a shock defeat to Slovakia, scraping through the group stage and then getting knocked out by France in the round of 16 with the team looking fractured and exhausted and emotionally done with each other. The atmosphere inside the squad had curdled. Tensions were everywhere. Thibaut Courtois, arguably the best goalkeeper in the world, was effectively exiled from the national setup. Players were clearly not pulling in the same direction. The golden generation had stayed together one tournament too many, and the cracks were no longer cosmetic. Tedesco left. And in January 2025, Rudy Garcia walked through the door. Now here is the thing about Garcia that the highlights do not tell you. This man has been here before. He is the coach, who worked with a young Eden Hazard in the early days at Lille before Hazard became a global superstar.
What is the budget?
He understands how to nurture elite talent at different stages of development. He understands the specific balance required between letting young players express themselves and giving experienced players the authority their careers have earned them. Under Garcia in World Cup qualifying, Belgium did not lose a single match. They topped Group J and scored 29 goals across 8 games. That attacking output was not just impressive as a number, it reflected a genuine shift in how the team was playing. More aggressive, more direct, more willing to impose their quality rather than manage games cautiously and hope for the best. The squad Garcia has assembled for this World Cup is a blend that works on paper and is beginning to work in practice. Let us go through exactly who matters and why. Kevin De Bruyne is still the quarterback of this team, and there is no honest debate about that. Even at this stage of his career, even with the injury disruptions he has navigated this season, when he is on the pitch and functioning, Belgium's attacking play takes on a completely different dimension.
I continue to feel that Lukaku isn't quite the polished finisher that Belgium needs if they are to go very deep. And these 2 goals, it does wonders for his confidence.
He finished as Belgium's top scorer in World Cup qualifying with 6 goals from a free-roaming creative role that allowed him to influence matches from multiple positions rather than being pinned to one function. His leadership is now as important as his talent. The veterans in this squad look to him, and the young players learn from watching him operate in real time. This is his last World Cup. Every minute he plays carries that weight. Romelu Lukaku divides Belgian opinion more than any player in the country's football history, and probably always will. The brutal missed chances are real. They happen in big moments, and they have cost Belgium points across multiple tournaments. But what he does to defensive structures is equally real and equally significant. He demands multiple defenders. He wins aerial balls that no other striker on this Belgian roster could compete for. He holds up play with a physicality that creates time and space for everyone around him. Remove him, and Belgium's entire forward line becomes more predictable and easier to organize against. Garcia clearly believes the benefits outweigh the risks, and the New Zealand performance gave that belief some visible justification. Thibaut Courtois is back, and the difference his presence makes is enormous. Belgium's goalkeeping during the Tedesco era without him was decent enough, but was never the imposing last line of defense that the squad needed. Courtois at his best is the best goalkeeper in the world. His shot stopping, his command of the penalty area, his ability to organize the defense in front of him through noise and authority, and the sheer weight of his physical presence between the posts. Real Madrid fans have watched him single-handedly preserve results that the rest of the team had not quite earned, and that ability is exactly what tournament football demands from a goalkeeper in the knockout rounds. He is back. Belgium are better for it. And then there is Jeremy Doku, who has transformed himself from the most frustrating player in Belgian football into one of the most exciting attacking threats in the entire tournament. Early in his career, the complaint was consistent and reasonable. Breathtaking one-on-one ability, terrible end product. All skill, no output, beautiful to watch, useless for winning matches. That version of Doku no longer exists. Under Pep Guardiola at Manchester City, his decision-making has been sharpened into something genuinely dangerous. He now beats his man and delivers, a cross, a cutback, a goal, rather than dribbling into a crowd and losing possession. He is racking up goals and assists with a regularity that his early critics could not have predicted. His stats and completed take-ons are practically unmatched in European football right now. And the terrifying part is that even when teams send 2 defenders to him, he is still finding ways through. In the middle of the park, Amadou Onana and Yuri Tielemans have built a partnership at club level with Aston Villa that is translated seamlessly into international football. Onana is an absolute unit, physically dominant in a way that covers enormous ground and wins battles that smaller midfielders lose, giving Belgium defensive security that allows De Bruyne and Doku to stay high and attack with freedom. His tackling numbers, his aerial win percentage, his dual success rate across Premier League matches this season are all elite. When Onana is controlling the defensive midfield zone, Belgium do not get dragged into the kind of chaotic transitions that exposed them in previous tournaments. Tielemans alongside him provides everything Onana does not: calmness, vision, passing range, and the technical ability to change the pace and direction of play with simple decisions that keep opposition defenses off balance. People underestimated this man for years based on surface impressions of his physical profile. His ability to deliver precise set pieces, to strike from distance, and to connect the defensive and attacking phases of Belgian possession play has been consistently undervalued. At this World Cup, he is being valued. The next generation filling the squad around these established names is where the genuine excitement lies for Belgian football beyond this tournament. Maxime de Kuyper at left back has solved a positional problem that nagged at Belgian football for years. His crossing ability, his technical composure in possession, and his production of 5 goals and 5 assists across all competitions since joining Brighton are numbers that prove he belongs at this level. Zeno de Bast as a ball-playing center-back is being trusted to build from deep in Garcia's system, and his technical quality and intelligence in possession from the back line are already operating at a level that most players his age have not yet found. Now, the history. Because to understand why this World Cup matters so deeply to Belgium, you have to understand the 2 moments when Belgian football felt genuinely invincible. 1986 in Mexico was the original. Gaithas taking a squad without expectations into a tournament and somehow reaching the semifinals. The 4-3 extra-time thriller against the Soviet Union in the round of 16. A match where Igor Belanov scored a hat-trick for the Soviets and Belgium somehow kept surviving and fighting back. That is one of the most extraordinary knockout matches in World Cup history, and it barely gets talked about outside Belgium. A 20-year-old Enzo Stifo controlling matches with an intelligence and a creativity that won him the tournament's Best Young Player award. Jean-Marie Pfaff becoming a national hero with his saves in the quarterfinal penalty shootout against Spain. Before Maradona's Argentina ended the run in the semifinal, Belgium finished 4th, and it remained the greatest achievement in the country's football history for over 30 years. And then 2018 happened and everything was redefined. The Japan comeback in the round of 16 is one of the great sporting moments of the last decade. 2 goals down with 20 minutes remaining, staring at elimination, the tournament appearing to end in the familiar heartbreak, and then Martinez made the substitutions that changed everything. Vertonghen's looping header pulling one back, Fellaini powering in the equalizer after arriving from the bench, and then the 94th minute counterattack that will live in Belgian sporting memory forever. Courtois distributing quickly, De Bruyne driving through the middle, Lukaku brilliantly leaving the ball to let it run through to Chadli, who finished into an empty net while Japanese players were still running back. From the edge of elimination to complete 3-goal comeback in under 25 minutes, the quarterfinal against Brazil was even more impressive as a tactical statement. Martinez's bold decision to use De Bruyne in a false 9 role and deploy Lukaku on the right to attack Brazilian defensive weaknesses in transition was the kind of genius that managers only discover when they trust themselves enough to break the conventional playbook. Brazil's coaching staff had no adequate answer. The 2-1 victory, preserved by Courtois' stunning late save from Neymar, was the moment that proved this generation could beat anyone on their best day. The semi-final loss to France and the 3rd-place bronze medal victory over England completed the tournament. Belgium finished 3rd. They have never been higher. And those players became legends instantly and permanently. This Belgium team does not have the same depth of talent as that 2018 squad. That is simply the honest truth, and pretending otherwise does not serve anyone. But here is something important. The absence of that depth comes with a freedom that the 2018 squad never had. That generation was expected to win before the tournament started. The pressure was relentless and it was heavy, and in the end it cost them. Every campaign came loaded with the weight of destiny that nobody asked for, but everyone insisted upon. This squad carries none of that. Nobody outside Belgium is calling them tournament favorites. Nobody is treating their progress as inevitable. Nobody is loading them with the specific burden of being the team that was supposed to win but never did. They are younger. They are freer. They are playing without the chains that famously bind the team that everybody expects to win. And in tournament football, teams that play free of expectation go further than their talent alone would predict, because freedom produces the kind of uninhibited, unafraid, committed to the moment performances that upset the favorites and generate the run that defines a tournament. Belgium woke up against New Zealand. The rest of the tournament will answer the real question. Was that just Belgium remembering how to beat a team they were always going to beat? Or was that Belgium rediscovering something they had lost and finally, at a World Cup that nobody was expecting them to dominate, ready to show the football world exactly what they have been quietly building? Drop everything you think about this Belgium team in the comments right now. Because this group is more dangerous than anyone is admitting, and the knockout rounds are going to prove it one way or another.